Phoenix Rising Football Club return home to Arizona after a successful 3-game road swing, but the man who was at the helm at the end of the Sacramento game is not the man who's at the helm in this one against Las Vegas Lights FC. For the second year in a row, Rick Shantz has been appointed the interim head coach of Phoenix Rising as Patrice Carteron is moving on. Tyler Terrence along with ex-German pro Devin Kerr. And Devin, we obviously heard the news. Everybody has heard the news at this point. Patrice Carteron moving on to Al Ahly in Egypt. And I remember speaking to you on the phone just about 48 hours ago. Both of us were broken up about it. The most that we can say at this point is merci, Patrice, and best of luck moving forward.
Still hard to believe that we're sitting here talking about it and that has actually transpired over the past couple days. But, you know, the best thing to take out of it is the positive nature that you just mentioned through each and every situation that the players have. Think about it positively. Wish him bon chance. Good luck down the road, but more importantly, Phoenix Rising, you have a job to do. Let's keep moving in a positive manner, move up the Western Conference. Let's get 3 points.
And it's deja vu all over again. Rick Shantz getting the second chance to be able to lead this side, but there is a difference in 2018, and it is confirmed that he will be the coach for the rest of the season, and it's going to be interesting to see what Rick Shantz's style of play is going to look like in comparison to Patrice's.
He already told us that he likes to play a little bit more, coming out of the back, play a little bit more sleeky, and you might see a little bit of formation change, maybe switching back to a 4-2-3-1, but nonetheless, he likes the Patrice Carteron system, albeit tactically a little bit different coming out of the back, probably eerily similar to what we've seen from the squad so far in 2018.
Well, the first task against this Las Vegas Lights FC team is trying to deal with the goal-scoring sensation. At least it's hoping to move in that direction for Las Vegas and Sammy Ochoa.
It's crazy to think that they put 15 goals up this year, and he just found the back of the net for the first time against Colorado Springs. But coming off that break, head coach Isidro Sanchez and director El Chelis say that, you know what, we feel a little bit rested. Tactically, we've made some changes. We've recovered our concepts. We're going to make some mistakes, just not the same ones. They better be mistake-free tonight if they think they have a chance at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex.
Well, for Phoenix Rising, they're certainly happy to have Billy Forbes back on the team sheet. He was in the 18 for the game against Sacramento, but we spoke to Rick Shantz and he said that we can most likely expect a Billy Forbes signing, and it couldn't come sooner.
Billy's slowly been making his way back from injury, and we saw him the first couple games of the year. He did such a good job on the left-hand side of the pitch, and we all know what he's capable of. We all know what he did last year, the goals that he scored for San Antonio Football Club. But coming over now, not necessarily the focal point of the offense, doing a good job playing the supporting role, meshing well with the guys, good chemistry. They're happy to have him back.
Missed over a month due to a lower body injury, as the medical staff did a great job getting him back up to speed. Phoenix Rising FC have a new man at the helm, Rick Shantz. His first task, taking on Las Vegas Lights FC as the Nevada club looking to make it 2 in a row after the win over Colorado Springs. Phoenix, Las Vegas next.
If you just sign that first
I'm
one
so
there.
sorry. I don't feel comfortable signing that.
I don't get the math here.
Was this the same car we talked about?
What's this dealer preparation fee?
I'm so sorry. This just is not.
What we talked about.
Get the car without the car salesman. Carvana, the new way to buy a car.
Phoenix Rising FC and Didier Drogba are turning up the intensity this season. Join the action at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex in Scottsdale and experience Arizona's highest level professional soccer. Don't miss Phoenix Rising Challenge Tulsa Roughnecks Saturday, June 16th at 7:30 p.m. Get your tickets at phxrisingfc.com. Phoenix Rising FC. Rising is one.
At Showcase Honda, we want to show you the best. Let us show you our massive inventory of new Hondas, like the 2018 Honda Accord, 2018 North American Car of the Year, Honda Civic, or Honda CR-V. Or let us show you a certified pre-owned Honda, one of the best values on the road. And let us show you an unmatched sales and service experience. Only at Showcase Honda. Easy to find on Camelback Road just west of the 51. Online at showcasehonda.com. Get to the show.
Almost ready for kickoff between Phoenix Rising Soccer Club, or Football Club, excuse me, and Las Vegas Lights. And for more on the coaching change for Phoenix, we're going to toss it down to our man, Jose Bosch.
Thanks, guys. And as you were talking about, Patrice Carteron has done so much for the club. When I talked to Rick Shantz about that, he said, you know what? He went to a huge club in Africa. I'm not going to change too much of what he did. But one thing he did want to stress to the team was about family. And to illustrate that, when the players asked him today, what was he going to wear on the sidelines? Was it going to be a little bit formal? Was he going to be a little bit comfortable? He looked at all the players and said, tonight, guys, I'm going to be a little bit more comfortable because I'm ready to fight for you on the field. And that's what he wants the guys to know, that they're going to be ready to fight for each other the rest of the season. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Jose, and we'll take a look at the starting lineups now. First with the away side, Isidro Sanchez, the manager, El Chalice, his father, the technical director. Devin, this is how they look tonight.
Yeah, don't be surprised if you see Zach Mathur step into the middle if this turns into a makeshift 3-5-2, but the visitors are going to have to push numbers down the field. They got to let their emotion not get the most of them. They get it into the run and gun a lot of times, and they need to get back to basics. And then continuing on for Phoenix Rising, no changes whatsoever. They're going to go with the exact same lineup that we saw last week. Again, pretty much mainstays here. JJ on the left, Miwako in the 10 spot, wearing the 10, Asante on the right, back line the same. Just keep an eye. We want to make sure that Kevon Lambert and James Musa hold down the middle of the park. It tends to get a little bit feisty when you come up against this Las Vegas Lights squad.
It's actually the third game in a row that Phoenix Rising is going to go with this starting 11. And for Rick Shantz, we asked him if there was going to be any rotation involved as we are officially underway for the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. And Coach Shantz basically just said if we've been able to, A, beat St. Louis FC, who hadn't lost at home up until that point, and then get a huge point on the road against Sacramento, why would we go ahead and change anything, even despite the fact that it's a midweek game? But, you know, Devin, with all the coaching changes that are going on right now and everything that's going on off the field, there are points to be had at home right now. And it is just a crucial point in the season to try to set them up to be able to make a push for one of the top spots in the Western Conference. Despite what's been going on, Rick Shantz, who has obviously been with the club for about 2 years at this point, it doesn't matter who's at the helm right now. You need to go out and get points on the field.
As you take a look back, it's easy as a fan, a media member, just an even passerby looking at it, to be a little bit frustrated from Phoenix Rising in their past road trip. But look, you went against 3 really solid squads, very technically sound, and it's difficult to go on the road in general, yet alone against the likes of Swope Park Rangers, St. Louis, and Sac Republic. So to be able to go in there and get 4 points out of that, kudos to them. But like we talked about at the top of the broadcast, this is a positive moment for Phoenix Rising. Obviously, Patrice, we hate to see him go, but Rick Shantz stepping into the opportunity of a lifetime, to say the least, and continue to push that positive message. And Jose said it right in his sideline hit a second ago about the preaching of family. That's one of the things that he brought up to us about how this is a family unit and how they're focused on sticking together, keep the chemistry, keep everything going in a positive nature, because again, they're in an awesome situation, great opportunity that lies in front of them.
Amadou Diaz sliding it along for Jason Johnson. Johnson around the first defender. Wants to get on that left foot of his. Unable to keep it in play, and a throw-in coming up for Las Vegas. And for Phoenix, the time is now. They have a couple of really good opportunities in the coming weeks. Obviously playing against a Las Vegas Lights team that has been struggling as of late. Before that Colorado Springs Switchbacks win, they hadn't gotten a win since March 31st. Their point before that was May 5th against Tulsa, when they actually went down a man. So this is a Las Vegas team that certainly has been struggling. They like to think that they found their form against Colorado Springs, putting in 4 goals, including one from Freddie Adu on his birthday back on June 2nd. But obviously going up against the most explosive offensive team in the United Soccer League in Phoenix Rising. As we're seeing Vegas in the first real spell of possession of the night. Helped along, space out wide for Las Vegas. Ball sent in, deflected off of Cortez. Asante. Maybe not his best delivery. Trying to find Cortez. As Phoenix having a tough time getting it out of their own defensive third.
And to your point, Tyler, both technical director El Chalice as well as head coach and son Isidro Sanchez telling us that maybe they took for granted exactly what went on in the USL on the level of play, admitting that they probably are maybe a little bit lethargic in their choices for their opening squad that they had, but they've dismissed some players, let some guys go, brought in some new acquisitions. The guys that they've brought in, awesome talent. Some of them you're going to see right away in the likes of Zach Mathers and Eric Avila. Other guys like Raul Mendiola, who got an assist last week, but Daniel Guzman Jr., Robert Inigo, those guys are going to be able to come once the international transfer window opens right around July 11th. All guys that can make an impact on this squad immediately. But again, it goes back to what you've seen each and every match with them. They need to stay grounded and calm. Chalise and Isidro telling us that, look, they want to use that emotion in a positive manner, but unfortunately for them, it tends to turn negative as the game goes on. You've seen that affect their results.
Well, there was a bit of a scuffle in their last game with Colorado Springs with Martin Mabin and Alatorre. It saw Alatorre being carted off the field with a massive bandage around his head, received multiple stitches just to stop the bleeding. As Huiki can't get rid of it. It's Jason Johnson picking it up. Now out wide for Dia. Dia, clever touch around the defender. Still with Dia. Clips it into the box. Asante, and it just skips past Chris Cortez. And now Cortez towards the back post. And that goes out of play. You saw Asante trying to go for the header. He probably would have been better off leaving it off for Cortez.
This is a great touch by Amadou Dia, and he understands the wherewithal with the spin, and he actually picks Cortez out on the back post. He sees Asante stepping up into the middle. Not exactly sure he thought that 5'6" frame was going to get onto the end of that ball. You see him a little mystified that it ended up at his feet, but that's really dangerous stuff from Phoenix Rising in the early moments of this game.
And Ricardo Ferrino is going to push his back line up and out. But Devin, let's dive into the nitty-gritty a little bit in terms of the tactics with Rick Schantz stepping in. This is a team for Phoenix that right around this OKC game a few weeks ago, they started to move to a 3-back system as Las Vegas are able to bring the ball down in a relatively dangerous area. Mathur's going out wide. Matt Thomas, who was responsible for the 4th and final goal against Colorado Springs. As Chris Cortez holding things up, but broken up. Good play from Joseph Farrell. Key interception there. But Devin, this was a side that was trying to go with a 3-back system, and it was working. Sometimes it wasn't working. And while they were able to get goals, there were times where it looked lethargic. And Rick Schantz, the biggest thing that he said between him and Patrice, while obviously Rick Schantz has nothing but respect and nothing but the best for Patrice, said that he likes to put the ball down and play a little bit more. And now we're seeing a 4-back system for Phoenix. And when you and I were talking about it, it just seems to make more sense if you are going to play out of the back, that you are going to have a 4-back system, as Ochoa lets rip from long range, and Wazinski sees it flash past.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I mean, early on in the season, the common denominator and message throughout the park and organization was, what is the back line going to look like? You know, they struggled coming down the stretch and struggled in general with the back four, but they did a good job solidifying themselves in the early goings of this season, but then decided to make the change, and rightfully so going forward, having some trouble finding the pockets, finding the space in the offensive third. Now, some of that was just finishing in general, and some of that was combination play that wasn't being made readily available to them through the 4-2-3-1, but that kind of goes exactly what Sean says to us.
Johnson with a great move. The delivery not his best, but terrific footwork from the Jamaican out wide.
And telling us that he likes to play a little bit more. And when you see Phoenix Rising go in transition, that opportunity kind of becomes a little bit more one-on-one. You get into isolated situations, which is fine as long as you're finishing. Start playing in the 4-2-3-1, hold the ball up a little bit more. Yes, you might not be able to go forward as fast or as much on a regular basis, but they do a good job still holding the ball. You give your opportunities in the middle of the park, which eventually, through the likes of Kavan Frater and James Musa, who are so talented going forward from that holding midfielder position, give you an opportunity down to the channels and wings, and still the one-on-ones up top.
Here's Johnson again. Now Johnson puts it on frame. Ferrino spills it and covers up. But Jason Johnson early on in this match, as we're into the 8th minute now, starting to get a lot of touches in some dangerous areas. Here's Carlos Alvarez, 4 goals and 3 assists on the season. Johnson, Asante, and plenty of space on the right-hand side. Johnson elected to go himself. It'll fall for Asante on the right-hand side now. Long for Cortez, and Ricardo Ferrino on cue, playing that sweeper-keeper role as he so often does. Ochoa holding up play. Eric Avila. Kobayashi. Good defensive work from Solomon Asante. However, he does concede a corner, and it's the first of the night, and it will be in favor of the visitors, Las Vegas Lights.
Something that we haven't talked about yet is Las Vegas Lights and their, we'll call it set piece antics. They do a good job in their training sessions, going round and round, finding different ways to exploit different opportunities on the field. Both their technical director and head coach telling us that it's something they practice on a regular basis, and you've seen it come to fruition in their performances on the field. Phoenix Rising need to keep a tight-knit watch anytime they get into these spots.
Las Vegas will like to play short. Here's Avia. He'll let rip from long range, but never troubling Carl Wazinski in the end. Well, Carl Wazinski coming off of probably one of the easiest clean sheets that he'll ever achieve in his career. In the game against Sacramento, which was just sluggish from basically start to finish, Devin, and talked about how Sacramento were coming off of a hangover of sorts from the US Open Cup with their dramatic victory over Seattle Sounders. And Phoenix, whether for good or for bad, sort of fell into that trap, but a point on the road against one of the top contenders of the Western Conference, you're probably going to sign up for that most days.
Well, that's where it just comes down to tactics from a manager and what they want to do down the stretch. And we asked Rick about that. Would he have done anything differently compared to Patrice's decisions? But he said, no, you know, we stay in constant contact and they're always involved in the decision-making process. I said to him on air last game that I thought maybe they'd go a little bit more further because you saw the lethargicness of Sacramento creeping into their play, maybe bringing on an offensive talent like an Alessandro Rigi, letting him go forward and trying to get that goal. But Rick said, you know what? We were happy with what went on. They were happy to put a defensive player in there and hope that they could just get out of there with the 1 point. Evan Waldrop stepped in, did a good job solidifying the midfield, and you know they were able to get 4 out of a possible 9, but still 4 versus 3 very talented squads.
And a little bit overzealous there from James Musa, as it will be a throw-in for Las Vegas. And some updates right now from around the United Soccer League. Swope Park Rangers taking down the Monarchs, so that's certainly good news for Phoenix fans as they're going to continue their chase to the Monarchs, who have been outstanding at the start of 2018. OKC Energy FC right now up 1-0 on T2, who are actually in the top 3 in the Western Conference at the moment. Who'd have thunk it after just a handful of wins? You could count them on one hand in 2017, Devin. I mean, you and I, after every week, I mean, it's just amazing how T2 have been able to turn the ship around. But trailing seemingly one of the more disappointing teams of 2018 in OKC Energy FC. Ochoa. Through for Zach Mathers. Mathers to the byline, sends it across, and Joseph Farrell clears it away. Farrell, of course, coming over from the Rochester Rhinos in the offseason.
Just refreshing my browser here to make sure that stat's correct. OKC up 1-0, opening 40 minutes on T2. I respectfully refer to Portland Timbers too as the darlings of the Western Conference. As you said it, they have just turned things around, but they've had success there in the past, just changing personnel a little bit.
Sacramento, T2, and Phoenix right now all sitting on 26 points. Ochoa can't win the header cleanly. Gladson Miwako bringing it down, and Mike Diff'ent forced to send it away. Cortez holding up play, but Jason Johnson unable to connect play. And Mike Diff'ent will happily see that out of play. Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders over $50.
You know, Tyler, taking a look at the standings, to kind of talk about your point that you brought up a second ago, having an opportunity after the road stand to get some points at home. This is something that Phoenix really needs to take advantage of, because with all due respect to the squads that they're playing, you're dealing with Vegas at home, Tulsa at home, and then you have to go on the road to HEB and RGV in Texas. But those are 3 games right there. Looking at the way things are panning out in the Western Conference, that should be 9 points. No ifs, ands, or buts. And that's the games coming down the stretch that you have to look back upon and make sure that you handled your business. You want to look back in September and October and say, what if?
Asante trying to get it through for his compatriot, Gladson Miwako. Collision between 2 Las Vegas players. And cleared out of any immediate danger from the visitors. Asante, little stutter step, finding Cody Wakasa, who found his way inside. Wakasa still on it. Wakasa with the left foot. And Ricardo Ferrino with a pretty easy save. Amadou Dia was calling for it in acres of space on the left-hand side.
You have to wonder if it's a little bit more difficult than normal to hear on the pitch tonight. Again, a lot of emotions running high, and Vegas always brings it at home, but they travel well too. Earlier on, we saw JJ couldn't play the ball across to Asante. And just a second ago, Wakasa had the entire left side of the pitch open for Amadou Dia. And whether that's communication, noise level, whatever, the guy's got to keep an eye on that and get out in front. Because if the opportunities are there now, you make no mistake about it, Las Vegas is going to see that, have a word at halftime, and close those channels.
Also an electric atmosphere here tonight at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex, and maybe part of the reason of that is the dollar beer night here. And the last 2 times that it was dollar beer night at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex, there were 14 goals to be had. Here's Ochoa, responsible for 1 of the 4 goals against Colorado Springs on June 2nd. Avila. Kobayashi. Patient from Vegas. Rarely where you hear those 2 words uttered in a sentence, but it was. And eventually Carl Wazinski claiming the delivery that was intended for Sammy Ochoa. Marcelo Alatorre. Well, for Phoenix, not exactly a full roster. Obviously, Billy Forbes getting back up to match fitness. And that was the worry with him in the Sacramento game, as to whether or not they were going to bring him on. But as Devin mentioned a few minutes ago, that they were very happy with the work rate that Chris Cortez was putting in, the way that Jason Johnson has been playing. As Ricardo Ferrino will claim this one, as we continue to go back and forth here at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. But again, another big piece in the middle of the park that has been injured and is still a few weeks away from getting back out onto the pitch is Colin Fernandez, and he provides a great balance. I mean, James Musa has done a terrific job, as has Kevon Lambert, but they got Fernandez for a specific reason, and he was integral in helping that Tulsa side get into the postseason last year. And he just does such an amazing job of being that link in between your defensive back line and your attackers in Jason Johnson, Chris Cortez, and Solomon Asante, whoever's going to be up there.
Yeah, they've done a good job. They'll play him in the 6th spot. They've also used him at the 10, and regardless of where he plays, like you said, Tyler.
As Cortez got a foot to it, but couldn't quite careen it on frame, as Ricardo Ferrino sees it go over the bar, but the fans, particularly behind Ferrino, very appreciative of the ball sent in from Solomon Asante.
And we'll get back to that in a second, but Asante teasing ball to the back post. That's a rough one for Cortez. He actually has to bend his run. He starts very flat, realizes he's out of position a little bit, so as he's breaking to the back post, has to stick his left foot out as well. That's a hard one to hit in general, let alone someone who stands at 6'4", respectively. Difficult to throw your weight around like that, but Colin Fernandez, we were very impressed by his skill set and play at the beginning of this season.
Here's a long-range effort. He's hit with plenty of authority, but just not on frame. But back to the Solomon Asante delivery. You and I were talking about it during the Sacramento game on air. I mean, his goal-scoring ability is evident, and that's what you're going to see on the surface. But his vision, his ability to pass the ball, the weighted passes, the delivery from out wide, probably one of the more underestimated qualities of anybody on this Phoenix team.
I remember the goal versus Swope Park Rangers in the closing minutes of the game. I mean, still, it's it's considered a little bit of folklore, but supposedly he never saw him or anything and just heard a little call over the shoulder with Rigi coming around the left side. But that gives you an idea of exactly what he's capable of. Again, head always left and right, looking back and forth, looking 3, 4, 5 moves ahead. And that's a testament to what kind of player he is, because it's easy enough to just get the ball and play it, but to know exactly where it's going 2, 3 steps ahead of time, that's what you want out of an outside player in general. Let alone Asante, who can move inside as well. Such a good versatile component.
Ochoa trying to get to the byline. He's able to. But it looks like the offside flag was up. And a good step from the Phoenix back line as we are into the 20th minute here at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex, and 20 minutes into the second interim head coach stint for Rick Schantz, who signed on with Phoenix January of 2017. Tucson, Arizona native, and of course was just a terrific coach for FC Tucson, the PDL side. And he actually brought them all the way to a U.S. Open Cup third round in 2013, as Chris Cortez gets a decent flick to it, but Huiki nods it back to his keeper. And they were the first ever PDL side to beat 2 professional teams in back-to-back games in the U.S. Open Cup. They would eventually fall to the Houston Dynamo 2-0. And on that Houston Dynamo team was Jason Johnson, who's obviously featured for Phoenix, Alex Dixon, a star for OKC Energy FC, and Brian Omby, all 3 of whom started for that Houston Dynamo side, taking down the Rick Schantz upset-minded FC Tucson, as Chris Cortez trying to find Jason Johnson, but a little bit too much zip on that one.
I have to wonder if there's any locker room banter about that one floating around between Schantz and JJ. Here's a good look at the newlywed. I guess it's been a couple weeks now.
It's been about a month now. What's the countdown for you, Ed? If you think that I'm not bringing it up on almost every broadcast, you're sorely mistaken.
Yeah, you're not far behind me from what I hear.
I don't know what you've been hearing. And this one actually came off of Huiki, the captain for Vegas, Ricardo Ferrino, with some acrobatics to be able to keep it in play for Vegas, and sends it the other way. But for anybody who's seen at least 3 or 4 minutes of Vegas soccer this season, you know that that's sort of a normality. As there was one video in particular of Ricardo Ferrino against Colorado Springs that ended up going viral, of him basically rolling the ball out to himself and trying to spark a counterattack. Got tackled at around midfield as Solomon Asante with a quick restart. Wokasa can't get there.
Just moments ago, Ricardo Ferrino and his fun-loving personality on full display.
Looks like he's still got his dancing shoes on from the wedding.
Whew. Something.
I heard he wore the same socks too. Huiki. Mike DeFont got a touch to it. Now with some work to do.
This is Vegas bringing Alatorre up. They like to use him in a long throw situation. You also saw Huiki stepping in. A lot of times they'll go to his head, either a flick on or a direct shot on goal.
They'll like to go short. Ochoa whips it across the frame. And nobody there for Vegas. We've seen that from them a couple of times this season, Devin, where they have this sort of designed throw-in, restart, set pieces. Matt Thomas is down behind the play and he's grabbing onto his head. And there's no run on the back post. And it's almost elementary where if you are going to run that sort of play, whether it's Wiki flicking it on or it's Ochoa receiving it short and he's going to whip something in, there has to be a runner there.
You should expect at least one right around the 6 or in between the 6 and the penalty mark, and even a second or third one crashing the back post. But like you said, good ball played in. Again, some fun stuff they've worked on a training ground, obviously. So there's a good look exactly what went on with Matt Thomas. Leg just getting caught up underneath him. Then Ochoa plays the ball across and should get one to the near post, one around the 6, one on the back post.
And there's a look at the Las Vegas Lights technical director, El Chilis. As Corey Jeffries continues to work on Matt Thomas, who scored a brilliant individual goal against Colorado Springs to really slam the door shut on the switchbacks. Thomas, one of those local products from Vegas, attended Palo Verde High School. He's 22 years of age, but has proved to be a worthy cog in the Vegas machine. Does that allow Cody Wakasa stealing water out of the visitors' well?
And we're all friends here. It's just water.
Tell that to Didier Drogba. And Corey Jeffries already motioning to Isidro Sanchez in the Las Vegas bench that Matt Thomas is going to need a sub. So obviously not the best scenario for Las Vegas. And especially in these intense conditions, it was right around 105, 106 degrees at kickoff. We are going to have a couple of hydration breaks. And the last thing that you want to do is use a substitution in the 26th minute and then obviously lose a player of the caliber of Matt Thomas.
It's going to be frustrating for the Lights for sure, and especially because you heard the coaches telling us, and we related to them, that they'd kind of figured out exactly tactically what they wanted to do, and Matt Thomas has been used on that left side. Such a vital role. He's been a little bit more prevalent in the offense going forward and just gets caught up underneath him. You just hope it's nothing serious.
Cortez holding play up and fending off Alatorre in one motion. Now it's Wakasa. Bending it in, not a bad idea. Navia had to be safe with it. And a corner kick coming up for Phoenix. And it looks like it's going to be Marco Jaime coming on and replacing Matt Thomas, and Jaime is just a bullish defender. And will certainly do a good job in replacing Thomas, but a big loss for this Las Vegas side. The substitute brought to you by Capriati Sandwich Shop. Fanatically delicious subs. Asante bending in a terrific ball. Cortez was there, as was Farrell. And it's going to go against Phoenix. I'll tell you what, Asante's delivery has been on point in the first 27 minutes or so as you got to look at the substitute, Jaime.
That's probably the only critical thing that we could have said about Colin Fernandez stepping into this broadcast, was that he was a little, not necessarily predictable, but we'll say he wasn't efficient enough with his dead ball situations. And since his departure and dealing with that injury, obviously we want him back on the pitch, but at the same point in time, Solomon Asante, through all of his many other duties, has stepped up and put together some fine performances in dead ball situations.
Easy work for Waz. He'll look to distribute quickly the other way. And Alatorre will happily shield off Chris Cortez. And we have seen some back and forth ping pong action between these two sides. There have been some goalie wars spotted between Carl Wazinski and Ricardo Ferrino. Kobayashi sliding it through. Portugal can't get there. A good recovery from Joseph Farrell as Mike DeFont, loan from the Colorado Rapids, thumps it the other way. Johnson, clever back heel for Amadou Dia. Good ball in for Cortez, might find Asante as he lets it run through. And it's Marco Jaime, the substitute, getting his first touch. Great idea for Mamadou Dia to play that ball early. I have to imagine he was trying to pick out Chris Cortez.
I was just going to say, I love the vision from him, but Cortez almost stopped a little bit, expecting Asante to be on the back post. Needs to continue his run.
And Cortez well offside.
There's another good look at that ball played in, and again, just from Chris Cortez, I know it's difficult to figure out exactly where that ball's got to land, but he's got to do a better job of anticipating. As soon as that ball sprays outside, he's got to start to drift to the back post a little bit more, because at least in that situation, if the ball comes over the top, he's got the opportunity to get on the end of it, and if Dia decides to play it on the ground, he can hit it in full stride, crashing the near post onto the ball. If he continues his run the manner in which he did, he takes himself away from the opportunity of that ball to the far post.
Well, Chris Cortez has certainly had a knack for scoring goals in the early stages of 2018, has 6 on the season, and is right up there for the Golden Boot race in the United Soccer League. I know it's only June 13th, but it seems like it's been forever since Carlton Belmar has scored a goal. He's still sitting on 8. And if I were to tell you that Chris Cortez was basically going to be second or third in the running in the USL for the Golden Boot at the beginning of the season, you might give me a second look. And the 3 goals for Seoul Park Rangers in their victory over the Real Monarchs coming from Colton Storm, Matias Silva, and Tyler Blackwood. Pretty impressive result for Swope, scoring 3 goals and not one of them coming from Belmar and still getting the 3 points. As a couple of nasty challenges from Carlos Alvarez. He's claiming he got the ball. And the referee, Rubiel Vasquez, claiming otherwise.
Someone who's been very quiet in the first half for Las Vegas Lights, Carlos Alvarez. We've talked about him quite a few times over the course of this opening part of the 2018 season, and for a while it seemed like he was the only one who could get anything going offensively for Las Vegas Lights. Playing a little bit different of a role here this evening since the acquisition of some of their new players. Holding down the middle of the park. Not necessarily a holding midfielder role, but they're kind of sitting in a 3-5-2 right now, giving Zach Mathers and Portugal the opportunity to float in and out of the midfield. Alvarez just sitting a little bit deeper.
Now Asante calling for the foul on Zach Mathers. A little bit more than half an hour here at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. Tyler Terrens along with former German pro Devin Kerr. All bent in. James Musa there for the defensive header. Huiki bringing it down, but not his cleanest first touch, and that'll spark the counterattack the other way for Phoenix. Jason Johnson on the move. JJ fakes the first shot. Still Jason Johnson! JJ going coast to coast. An unbelievable individual effort. Finishes it off with his right foot. And Phoenix have a 1-0 lead over Vegas here in the 32nd. And they go straight over to Rick Shantz.
You could sense it. JJ knocking on the door. We've seen him with a few opportunities here in the first half. Some one-on-one, some in transition. Hasn't been able to pick any of his teammates out. Hasn't been able to get the back of the net. Just throws each and every player and fan in this stadium on his back. Carries them across midfield, right into the 18, and is able to beat Ricardo Ferrino and break the deadlock.
Well, the key word for Rick Shantz was family, and after an incredible individual goal like Jason Johnson just scored, you'll see so many players go ahead and do their dance, and there's no knock about that, but Johnson and the rest of the Phoenix Rising 11 running straight over to their interim head coach. What a moment. Cortez over for Solomon Asante. Phoenix really working it now. Asante! And a big save from Ricardo Ferrino, but Phoenix smelled blood in the water.
Solomon Asante trying to get in on the act, asking for more from the Bandidos and the Fury Roja and everybody else in this stadium. Getting the emotion going. Got to give credit to Ricardo Ferrino, though. Steadfast in that goal. Able to get his hand out, get a little bit of wrist behind it to keep it out of the back of the net.
First touch from Farrell, and Ferrino with a couple of big saves, and he's just going to slow things down for Las Vegas, who look all out of sorts in the last 90 seconds or so. And look at the press from Phoenix. They're just hunting now. Cortez, Johnson. They're saying he's onside. He lets the shot fly.
Not exactly sure how the flag stayed down on this one, but Phoenix will take it nonetheless. He's caught on it, yep, right behind him. JJ just drifts back a little bit, gets a ball into his feet. Good stuff by Chris Cortez, holding it up. Playing it in. You'd like, this is one spot that if you could be critical of the Rising in moments past, their opportunity to kind of seize what's in front of them and ride that wave of emotion and push themselves into that second goal, getting out in front of a team that's, like you said, Tyler, smell blood in the water, keep pushing the pace and the envelope. You don't want to throw yourself behind the 8-ball and let the team go the other direction, but they've had opportunities in the past where they've gotten out 1-0 and maybe not been able to close things, and it's come back to bite them at the end of the game.
Cortez. Oh, Phoenix are just toying with Vegas now. Johnson over for Asante. Oh, he missed it. Oh, it would have been team goal of the year by a mile, even though it's only June 13th. It was scintillating stuff, and Solomon Asante, there might have been a deflection involved.
Well, JJ does a good job, steps back in. Chris Cortez getting very crafty with his footwork. Plays the ball down into the channel to Jason Johnson, who's able to pick out the streaking Asante on the back post. There's the combination play we just said. He wasn't able to link up with them on the first few goals, and Ricardo Ferrino makes another game save.
Near post, Ferrino, another huge save. Farrell the header, and it's cleared off the line by Ochoa. Still not out of the woods yet, or Vegas, and finally cleared away. Mike Diff'ent trying to fend off the defender. And here's Miwako. And Phoenix will recycle. Something about dollar beer night here at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. Has this side feeling some type of way. Wakasa. Mike Diff'ent. Cortez. Alatorre the culprit. Rubiel Vasquez wasn't a fan of it. That's the final warning call. Fans, make sure to visit your Valley local supermarket and pick up a Phoenix Rising branded bottle of Arizona Gunslinger. Solomon Asante now standing on top of the free kick. It's a two-man wall for Vegas. And it looks like Alex Mendoza is going to come on and replace Eric Avila. So two first-half substitutions made by Isidro Sanchez, and it looked like both of them are due to injury as Avila limps off in the 38th minute. Substitute brought to you by Capriati's Sandwich Shop. And things have gone from bad to worse for Vegas. Now just one substitute remaining in the Desert Heat. Asante, looped ball in, easy work for Ferrino.
It's going to be frustration by the visitors so far in the opening 38 minutes, and you're going to wonder what Isidro and El Chalice are going to have to say to their squad. As you mentioned, two subs down, only one left, and unfortunately struggling, to say the least, in the opening part of this game. really have any answer for Phoenix Rising. But again, Phoenix, you're not going to say wasting opportunities, because you have to give a lot of credit to Ricardo Ferrino and his ability to step in and make save after save. But at some point in time, you would think that that's going to stop, and they're going to be able to find another little loophole in this defense that is Las Vegas.
Ochoa, first sign of life we've seen from Vegas virtually since the Jason Johnson goal. And Devin, you know, it almost feels like there are times when Phoenix are playing so well offensively and there's so much confidence on top of the ball, they're creating so many chances that it feels like there's an infinite amount of chances at their disposal, when in reality, and it's obvious to say, but it needs to be said, there are a finite amount of chances, and if you don't score them and you continue to let a team hang around, the confidence is going to start to build, and that's what we've seen even going back to the first game of the season against Orange County. When they got that initial goal from Asante, they didn't put Orange County away. A late equalizer from Kernali, and it sort of was some foreshadowing for some other games in the season.
It's worked against them in a couple different manners. You just mentioned getting a goal early on and then not able to close it out, and it's a little bit snake-bitten at the end of the match, end up in a 1-1 draw. And then just a few short nights ago, they were able to get a little bit of revenge on Sac Republic on the road, but about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, they played them home here. And look, similar to what you're talking about, unfortunately went a little bit different of a direction early on, and we tried to creep back in, but Sac Republic, 6 shots, 3 on goal, 3 goals. Phoenix Rising, over 20 shots.
Miwako, Benson,
7, 8, 9 on goal, and like you said, just couldn't put away their opportunities. Now they put themselves behind early on, but still, you'd rather get out in front than have to play from behind. But either way, it comes down to what you said, where you just got to close. And that's the end of the thing that they want, is they think they have a closer when they put Chris Cortez up top. He's proven it for the most part, but you would expect something a little bit more regular. The good news is they're getting back a healthy Billy Forbes. Colin Fernandez right around the corner. Didier Drogba a few short weeks away from being back in action. You still have Alessandro Rigi, Kavan Frater, so they have a massive amount of options. But again, you'd like to see some sort of chemistry between a usual suspect 8-9 players, and then maybe insert that 1 or 2 to get a final product.
Well, they have one final product tonight, and it's from Jason Johnson, scoring his 5th goal of the season. Here he is on the ball now, over for Asante. Solomon Asante letting fly, but it's Marco Jaime making sure it didn't get to his keeper, who's already made a number of huge saves, and that is a brutal collision on the far side of the Phoenix Rising soccer complex. Jaime goes down. And it's Cody Wakasu who's down as well, and it looks like he caught the brunt end of it. And both players were virtually going full steam ahead. Jaime able to shake it off, and it looks like there's going to be a yellow card involved. And the mustard will be issued to Wakasa here in the 42nd. And while both players ended up going down, that's probably the right call from Rubiel Vasquez, as it was a tad reckless from Wakasa.
Yeah, just a little bit late arriving, and that is a nasty challenge. Someone get hurt in that situation. Understand Cody trying to step in and win a ball, but he's already got the line pushed so high, and you could see Marco Jaime just looking to clear the ball out of the back. Maybe just hold your ground and stand up a little bit there. Difficult to slow your momentum in a situation like that, but better hold up. You don't want to injure yourself or grab a yellow card. Unfortunately, might have done both.
So Cody Wakasa receiving the first yellow card of the night. Flick on from Cortez, and Huiki will just help it all the way along back to Ricardo Ferrino, who was responsible for keeping this a 1-0 game. Could easily be 2 or 3 in favor of Phoenix. Mendoza. James Musa stepping forward. Good work from Mendoza to challenge it. Asante over for Gladson Awako. Now Jason Johnson in space. Close down quickly. Miwako stays on his feet. Wiki on the interception. Kobayashi. Vegas trying to find the equalizer before the halftime whistle. Kobayashi sends it in. Ochoa, was he taken down in the box? The answer is no.
And no foul there. Mike Diff'ent. It looked like initially he was behind Ochoa, but Ochoa actually came from a little bit of a negative position to put himself in that situation. It's a good tackle by Diff'ent.
And corner kicks, as always, brought to you by Carvana. Alvarez. Asante giving chase. And 2 minutes of stoppage time is the word. Down pitch side. Jaime. And the fourth official making it official. 120 seconds to be added on to the 45 minutes here in the first half. Wiki gets it across. Wazinski was caught at the near post. And it'll end up being a goal kick. USL's official Twitter feed keeps you up to date with news, live game updates, and highlights from around the league 24/7, 366 days a year. Follow @USL on Twitter. And maybe you can get a second look at the Jason Johnson goal. That right now is the difference maker. Came in the 32nd minute. Wildly impressive individual effort. Given how dominant he is on his left foot, if you are going to fake a shot like that in the area, you're going to get everybody in the building biting. Strong header for Mike Diff'ent. Vegas wanted a foul. Portugal. Wiki. Kobayashi, a neat touch. Mathers can't get there. It'll fall for Kobayashi again. Alvarez, the curler. Oh, not a bad effort at all. And he has been some type of form as well.
That's the ball movement you've seen in streaks this year from Las Vegas Lights. We've been accustomed to seeing a little bit more, we'll say, marksmanship from Alvarez coming out of the middle and on the right side of the pitch. And he's got 4 goals and 3 assists this year for a reason. Does such a good job recognizing the opportunities in front of him. And he is a closer. But he's also been someone who's, that's a late challenge.
Well, I think that's putting it nicely. As Ochoa sliding in with Wazinski in what looked like clear possession of the ball. Wazinski still down. We'll get another look.
See Ochoa kind of sliding in here late. Mike Diff'ent not even recognizing what's going on behind him. Mike, we're still playing, buddy. And Waz is having a few choice words that Patrice Carteron has taught him prior to his departure.
Well, I'm not sure what those words might be, but Rubiel Vasquez is getting an earful at the moment, and that's going to do it for the first half for the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. Jason Johnson with the lone goal in this one, and it was special. 32nd minute, an individual effort that essentially started from midfield. Carl Wazinski heads into the dressing room up 1-0 at the moment. Devin Kerr, your thoughts?
Vegas has shown that they're willing to be submissive in this situation, but they're not going to roll over, and we've seen that time and time again with Las Vegas Lights. Phoenix Rising, you have a stranglehold, it's time. Close it out, finish it, end it, whatever you want to say. Continuously find the back of the net, get out in front of this thing. Don't worry about it. come 90 minutes and look back and say, what if?
Well, the fans at the moment are enjoying Dollar Beer Night here at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex, and they're also enjoying a 1-0 lead thanks to this incredible goal from Jason Johnson, his 5th of the season. It came in the 32nd minute. We're headed to the halftime show, 1-0 in favor of the home side.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Yo soy el Dr. José Francisco Carrasco de Happy Kids Pediatrics. Para nosotros, sinceramente, lo más importante es la salud y el bienestar de sus niños.
Happy Kids Pediatrics son clínicas especializadas en pediatría enfocadas en la salud y el bienestar de los niños con localidades cómodas, limpias y cercanas a usted. Podrá ver al mismo proveedor médico constantemente. Aceptamos access, aseguranzas privadas y precios especiales para pacientes sin seguro médico. Happy Kids Pediatrics, sirviendo a la comunidad hispana por más de 18 años.
If you just sign that first
I'm
one
so
there.
sorry.
we'll get
I don't feel comfortable signing that.
I don't get the math here.
Was this the same car we talked about?
What's this dealer preparation fee?
I'm so sorry. This just is not.
What we talked about.
Get the car without the car salesman. Carvana, the new way to buy a car.
Phoenix Rising FC and Didier Drogba are turning up the intensity this season. Join the action at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex in Scottsdale and experience Arizona's highest level professional soccer. Don't miss Phoenix Rising Challenge Tulsa Roughnecks Saturday, June 16th at 7:30 p.m. Get your tickets at phxrisingfc.com. Phoenix Rising FC, rising is one. Big intermission here at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex, on the home side right now. Happy to have their 1-0 lead thanks to a goal from Jason Johnson. And they're happy to be home after a 3-game road swing, which saw it come to a close with a 0-0 draw against Sacramento Republic. Las Vegas Lights FC with some work to do and only one substitution at their disposal heading into this second half. Right now, we'll step aside and take a look at the most recent weeks of the United Soccer League Goal Save Play of the Week.
He left that one, swung in, down inside, headed on, and he scores! Ken Tribbett again picks up the goal for Penn FC.
Camden Faywo redirected and into the back of the net. And Fresno has taken the first lead of the night.
Header. Estrada still giving chase. Brought down nicely. A shot! A wonder goal! What an equalizer! S2 full level.
Defensively for the Red Bull team.
Tenari, one touch for Brian White. Feeds right side, and that's a goal! He comes into the game, Andrew Tenari, and he finishes the play. 3-1 for Red Bull.
Street with the spin. And finds a way to slot it past Fabian Serta. What a return game for Joey Calistri. As his second goal of the night on the brace. Ninchoff with the swing. Pickens upstairs to deny it.
Wow. Plays it to the middle with Taylor Hunter. Now it's taken away. Trouble here for Switchbacks FC. A shot in, a great save by Stuart Sayus. Barreling down on him was Chase Minter.
To find Miller. Miller's going to crank one over. Rios is there. Oh my, punched away by Newton.
And there's a reason why he was Van Avik, and another save by Reynes.
Service this one in. Into the box, the header, and a big save by Dykstra.
We came here with a unique challenge, and that was to solve the problem of producing over 500 games and do so in a cost-effective way for the clubs, in a way that produced high-quality broadcasts and standardize the look and feel of all of those productions. Outside of the live event, the match experience, outside of that, the broadcast is the window into the brand for the club and for the league. You need to be able to capture that in a compelling way with a quality broadcast.
A large portion of the teams work with our partner Vista on REMI Productions, remote integration. What that means is that the production of the game is actually handled mostly away from site. So the way these games work is a truck will show up locally at the stadium. There'll be 4 camera operators there, and those signals are sent all the way here to Fort Lauderdale. And here locally at Vista, the game is cut. The game has graphics put on top of it. Replay is done here, and in many cases, the play-by-play is actually done on site here at Vista as well. So after the game is fully produced, we have a signal that goes to our partner ESPN Plus for US distribution. We have a signal that goes to YouTube for international distribution. And then for the teams that have an over-the-air local broadcast regional sports network deal, the signal is sent to their partners as well. So even for the games that aren't done with a REMI production, all games flow through Vista, and all those signals have to get sent out all over the world to reach the fans of USL. Because of those REMI productions, we'll oftentimes have 5 or 6 games going on at one time. Nobody is doing sports REMI productions on this level consistently.
We have built one of the largest REMI production models of any league in the world. And now we're able to deliver anywhere in the world to our partners at ESPN, fully produced matches from all over the country. We couldn't be more thrilled with the progress we've made and some of the innovative things now we're going to be able to start to bring into the broadcast moving forward.
Terrific goals and terrific stuff from the USL as we lift up the curtain to show you exactly how we bring you these games, over 500 of them. Unbelievable, as Phoenix Rising FC with a 1-0 lead over Las Vegas Lights FC, thanks to the goal from Jason Johnson in the 32nd minute. And we'll take a look at some of the news and notes from around the United Soccer League as of late. The 1 million mark in attendance passed a full month ahead of 2017, which was already a record-breaking year. And of course, Rick Schantz, interim head coach for Phoenix Rising for the remainder of 2018, as we mentioned before in this broadcast, and Louisville hosting Nashville in the round of 16. A little unfortunate that the 2 USL sides were able to draw each other, but hey, it does guarantee a USL side in the Elite 8.
Just days before, we had 5 coming into that, and now we're back down to 3. But yeah, like you said, it's nice to see those guys out there, and it's going to be a fun rubber match between those two. They've already met previously twice this year, both results ending in a 2-0 victory for the home squads, and Sacramento getting a solid victory in overtime versus Seattle. They're going to have to deal with a very talented squad at LAFC.
And the team of the week for the United Soccer League looks like this. Forrest, Lasso, Ken Tribbett, and Phillips along the back line. Lasso had an unbelievable defensive performance for FC Cincinnati in their most previous game, and they had a wild one on the USL Game of the Week with the Bethlehem Steel. Steel reduced to 10 men, still were able to come back. Matt Watson, Devin, you jumped up as soon as you saw him on the screen. And how about Ledesma from the Monarchs? No relation to Manu Ledesma, but I mean, just a terrific performance in his debut.
Each and every person on the screen deserves it, and Matt Watson, I bet the Phoenix Rising fans are missing him a little bit. How about Joey Calistri after the whooping and thrashing that was Phoenix Rising at St. Louis just a few short days ago, able to go get a victory at home. And another match versus Swope Park Rangers 2-0, and then went on the road. 2 goals and an assist versus Tulsa Roughnecks. Tulsa, it's not getting any better.
You said it, I didn't.
Okay.
Western Conference schedule looks like this. San Antonio hosting a Sacramento Republic side who are looking to keep it rolling in the U.S. Open Cup as well as keep pace in the Western Conference. Phoenix hosting Tulsa Saturday. Las Vegas will welcome the Seattle Sounders 2, and Fresno FC Swope Park Rangers. Fresno desperately trying to find out what the recipe for success in the United Soccer League is. I mean, between Fresno and Las Vegas, the 2 expansion sides who started out relatively nicely have sort of dropped off, and now we're getting into the dog days of the summer. Devin, do you see either of these two expansion sides getting into the postseason?
It's going to be very difficult, especially because when they step up against the teams that they need to win, they don't. And then they go and they put themselves in situations where they deal with, you know, Swope Park Rangers. Right now, they're down 1-0 to Sac Republic. So again, it's difficult to get victories versus hard teams. You should be able to close out in general versus the lesser teams, like Phoenix Rising is trying to do here against Las Vegas.
Well, they're trying to close out. They got 45 minutes to do it. Las Vegas trying to get back into it. We'll be back in a moment.
If you just sign that first
I'm
one
so
there.
sorry.
We'll
I don't feel comfortable signing that.
I don't get the math here.
Was this the same car we talked about?
What's this dealer preparation fee?
I'm so sorry. This just is not.
What we talked about.
Get the car without the car salesman. Carvana, the new way to buy a car.
Worried about your kids' health care? Sick of doctor's offices with no appointments available? Let Happy Kids Pediatrics help. Our hand-picked staff is carefully cultivated to provide professional and compassionate care when your child needs it. Plus, we happily accept access, private insurance, and even offer special pricing for patients with no health insurance. With over 18 years providing quality health care to Valley children in our convenient Valley-wide locations, you can trust your child's health care to Happy Kids Pediatrics.
Visit Pruitt's for Memorial Day savings all month long. Find furniture you'll love at prices you can't beat. Like these rocker recliners, your choice of color, just $199. Or this casual 3-piece chaise sectional, yours for $549. Visit Pruitt's for the lowest prices and best selection at Alma School and Ray or Thomas Road and 34th Street. Pruitt's, proudly serving the Valley for over 65 years.
45 minutes complete here in the desert. One goal to be had, and it's in favor of Phoenix Rising Football Club as Rick Shantz, who took over for Patrice Carteron just a little more than 24 hours ago, enjoying a 1-0 lead over Las Vegas Lights, who have struggled in the first half. Tyler Terrence along with ex-German pro Devin Kerr. We're going to look at some of the best moments from the first half. And Devin, you know, it hasn't looked great from Vegas. A couple of half chances here and there. They've tried to let fly from distance, but it's going to take a lot more than that to beat Carl Wazinski.
We talked about the 4-2-3-1 coming back into play, but it's really been an interesting fluid formation from Phoenix Rising in the first half. Ochoa getting a shot off. Chris Cortez then coming the other direction, missing on the back post. But the offensive opportunities were coming forward. Amadou Dia would get on the act, plays a teasing ball to the back post to Solomon Asante. He's able to kind of make his way to it, but unfortunately just the bending run wasn't there. Good recovery by Las Vegas. And then we saw JJ stepped in, good touch left, brings it back over to his right. Everybody in the world expects him to hit this with his left foot, but he outsmarts them all and finds the back of the net.
5th of the season for Jason Johnson. It came in the 32nd minute, and that look says it all. Absolutely determined to get these 3 points, as Solomon Asante just a few moments later almost made it 2. And it was Ricardo Ferrino with an excellent save, and Phoenix would continue to knock on the door. This is a bizarre play. It looked like Jason Johnson was offside, but Marco Jaime keeps him on.
Right on top on the left side, keeps Jason Johnson on, takes one quick touch and has a crack. And then JJ, this is another great little play interchangeably between the squad, and it's nice from Chris Cortez. We used the word crafty before. We see him trying to pick off Asante on the back post. Plays a good ball in. It's good vision, great run. But again, Ferrino gets the tiniest little touch to keep it out of the back of the net. Ferrino made save after save down the stretch. This could easily have been 2 or 3-0 at halftime.
And it really just turns into a Ricardo Ferrino highlight reel. As you can see, the reactions just unbelievable from the keeper who got married just a few weeks ago. And for Phoenix, 11 shots, 7 of those on target. As we are underway at the second half here at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. And Devin, you know, we've talked about efficiency for this Phoenix team throughout a number of these broadcasts thus far. I mean, they were efficient in the first half, but if you're looking at this and you're trying to sort of be a perfectionist with this team, they probably needed a second goal.
100%, and going a step further, they just, look, you can say efficient, you can say closed, you can say whatever you want, but against better squads down the road, you're not going to have these opportunities in bulk like we're seeing here this evening. When you go up against the likes of a Sac Republic like we just saw last week, if you go on the road to Swope Park Rangers, you're not going to get the barrage of assault up top that we've seen. So it's a good opportunity for them to get out in front and see if they can maintain a lead and put some goals away to gain some confidence. But at the same point in time, the efficiency part does have to creep back in. The good news is for Rick Schantz is that when someone doesn't step up, he has the opportunity to give someone else an opportunity to step in.
Mathur slides it through for Ochoa, who was looking to pull the trigger, but Mike DeFont wasn't having any of it. And then Ochoa true class helping up Ochoa afterwards. And a corner kick coming up for Las Vegas Lights. And of course, corner kicks brought to you by Carvana. Carlos Alvarez, one of two standing on top of it. Christian Torres as well, the 21-year-old from Hidalgo, Mexico. Alvarez towards the near post. And it was Jaime who actually got there, but maybe a little bit too cute. And for Las Vegas, Devin, you know, it was a rather lackluster performance. And when talking with Rick Schantz, he says it's always a guess as to what Vegas is going to try to pull. As Kevon Lambert can't get the header there, the bicycle kick effort didn't have nearly enough on it, and Wazinski will see it out of play. What needs to change in the second half for Isidro Sanchez's side?
If you're Vegas, you need to come out and figure out a way to get a little bit more chemistry between your squad. Get some interchanging play, 2, 3, 4 guys around the ball. We've seen them in the past have some success going forward. I don't necessarily want to call it counterattacking, as Rick Schantz said to us. He doesn't necessarily call it a counterattack. He says that they like to go forward with numbers, but a lot of times it's just a run and gun melee type deal. But they are capable of putting together some nice inter-squad play. You just haven't seen it. It's too many individual efforts so far. We saw the Sammy Ochoa chance, but it was basically off a little deflection, stepping up and having a crack. And you saw Carlos Alvarez, same thing. Ball came into the middle, gets knocked out to the top of the box, and he has to go from about 25, 30 yards out, but nothing really threatening for Wazinski. So if he wants to continue to push like that, it's not really going to come to fruition for them. They need to do a little better working together. More of a cohesive unit.
Dia after the service from Asante as Cortez was trying to elevate for the header. Two substitutes used for Las Vegas in the first half. Both Erica Villa and Matt Thomas coming off with injuries. Marco Jaime and Alex Mendoza, the replacements. And in this type of heat, not exactly the look that you were hoping for. Ladies and gentlemen, Wednesday was a historic day for soccer in North America. Members of FIFA voted to award the 2026 FIFA World Cup to the united bid of Canada, Mexico, and the United States. The World Cup will return to North America for the first time in 32 years and promises to be the biggest sporting event the world has ever seen. Congratulations to the united bid. The FIFA World Cup is coming in 2026. Lambert gets a touch to it, a little spinorama over for Jason Johnson. Ferrino off of his line, it's Jason Johnson, and he put it wide. Those are the type of moments you're gonna look back on, and Jason Johnson already has 1 to his name tonight. Could not find number 2, at least yet.
JJ's got to do a better job closing this out. Good job stepping up into the middle of the park, and Lon Lambert gets a nice little touch around Week. He plays it to the back post. It's not the best of efforts, but JJ gets it out in front of him, and you almost wonder in a situation like this, look, you're already pushed to the back post. You see Ferrino going to ground. Why not take a touch around him and then try and finish it off instead of trying to find the tiniest of angles on the near post?
Well, people can knock Ricardo Ferrino and his antics along the back line all that they want, but he has put on quite the display tonight, and when he is that reckless coming off of the line, it makes the attacker take a second guess.
Sounds repetitive, but you do have to take advantage of it, and Like you said, one thing you can't question his capability in between the pipes. He is a really, really good goalkeeper that is technically sound and goes above and beyond each and every game. Unfortunately for Vegas, sometimes the antics start to come into play.
Alvarez around a couple defenders as he couldn't get it past James Musa. Mendoza back for Alvarez. That was Portugal. Clips it in, and Carl Wazinski says, thank you very much, I'll take that. And Asante dropped by Jaime. And Solo stays down.
We see it so often with Solomon Asante, just too quick for comfort. When other players are around him on the pitch, getting around Marco Jaime, the substitute who came on for injured Matt Thomas. It's good to see him up and moving about again. This is a spot for Phoenix. You'd really like to see them get a stranglehold on this game in the opening minutes of the second half. Obviously, a second goal is always great, but things flattened out a little bit. Couldn't close out at the end of the first, excuse me. Just come out and make a statement in the opening 10-15 minutes of this second half and tell Vegas if they want it, they're going to have to come and get it.
Cortez working on Huiki, able to draw the foul as he drew the center back well out of position. And Cortez slow to get up, but certainly did his work. And Joel Huiki shown mustard here at the start of the second half, and we'll see why.
And Huiki never shy to step up into a confrontational situation. Already served a suspension this year for yellow card accumulation. He's going to grab another one. Again, this is a good, dangerous opportunity for Phoenix Rising. Take your time. You see Solomon Asante just calm things down a little bit. Amadou Diaz sitting on the left. A lot of times we see them play direct and knock a ball right into the box. Wouldn't be the worst thing to see some combination play, but expect a little floated ball in and initial touch on the front or maybe a second one on the back post.
Asante, Joseph Farrell, oh, that is so well done. Joseph Farrell, his second goal of the season. It's 2 for Phoenix on the night. Terrific delivery from Solomon Asante, and it's just what the doctor ordered for the home side.
We thought we might see something spectacular from the center back again. Just a few weeks ago, we saw Diff'ent and Farrell able to get on the score sheet. It's a good ball played into the middle, and Joe Farrell just steps up, both from performance and celebration. Farrell's got him flying.
Well, we talked about the delivery from Solomon Asante, his vision, his ability to weight a ball. Doesn't get much better than that. Picks out his big center back, and Joseph Farrell just caresses it into the side netting. No chance for Ricardo Ferrino, who's been splendid. And Phoenix finally have their second. And one more, and they'll start to look to blow the doors wide open on this one. And how pleased do you have to be with the performance if you're Rick Schatz? Just about 48 hours, even less, with a big coaching change, and coming out and still getting the job done against a very feisty Las Vegas side. As Ochoa is holding up play. Gets it back for Kobayashi. And a good challenge from Kavan Lambert, letting Kobayashi know that it's not going to be easy work in the middle of the field.
You've seen the offensive response from the boys in red, and now you'd like to see a tactical response and keep the emotion in check and out of play in this game. As time goes on in this match, Las Vegas is going to start to become more and more frustrated with their performance and their inability to break this very talented Phoenix Rising game down. Just moments ago, a challenge put in Asante on the other side of the field, and Kavan Lambert maybe getting a little retribution for his midfielder. There's a few players around the league that I'd like to steer clear of a challenge from. Joe Farrell's one of them. Kavan Lambert. Definitely want to stay out of the way of Forrest Lasso as well. None of those guys are people that I would ever want to get involved with. I'm the first one to step in, but for some reason, I'm scared. It's been a long night.
It's been a long night for Vegas as well so far. And it might get even longer as Zach Mathur is probably going to go into the book here, and indeed he will. That is number 40 on the season for Vegas in terms of yellow cards, and they now lead the USL by a hefty margin in that department. I don't know exactly if Zach Mathur has a case or not, as that was late and a bit reckless.
You're going to get another look now. Zach Mathur's frustrated as, number one, it's the first time we've really seen him come into the front of the referee's mind. You can see his frustration because he comes in from behind, gets a little toe poke in between the legs of Cody Wakasa, knocks it out of bounds, but his body follows through. I'll tell you what, interestingly enough, on the different part of that comment, 56 minutes in, 57th minute overall. First or second time we've really seen Gladson Miwako getting involved in the run of play on a regular basis. He had 2-3 touches, but he was very, very quiet in the first half.
Miwako's one of those players who may not show up in the score sheet every night and really hasn't been in it much in 2018 thus far, but he's very technical on the ball. I mean, he's similar to Solomon Asante in a few ways, but Asante obviously has been nothing short of sensational as Cody Wakasa makes a mistake there. The shot sent across, and Wazinski with his first real contribution of the night.
Hopefully Cody Wakasa can treat this as a learning experience. It's a difficult ball drifting over his shoulder to the back post, and although they're 20, 25 yards from goal, he doesn't know what's behind him, so we need better communication from the guys to let him know exactly what's going on in his surroundings, but he could easily take a look over his left shoulder and use his head to just knock it over the end line. Gonna look exactly what I'm talking about. Instead, he lets it run right underneath his foot. You've got Christian Torres drifting on the back post in that overlapping wingback position.
Jaime with the long throw-in. Devon Lambert gets there first. Good work from Gladson Miwako. Now Chris Cortez on his horse. Jason Johnson making a large run forward. Ferrino is there and uses his noggin. '59th minute. Goals from Jason Johnson in the 32nd and Joseph Farrell in the 53rd. And Vegas trying to claw their way back into it. Christian Torres, not a decent ball in. And the third and final substitution of the night. And it's going to be Nicholas Samayoa coming on and replacing Daigo Kobayashi. And the substitute brought to you by Capriati's Sandwich Shop. Samayoa, 22 years old from Guatemala City. Rookie season after playing college ball over at Florida Gulf Coast University from 2014 to 2017. 78th overall pick by the New England Revolution. Actually debuted against Louisville City FC in the US Open Cup about a week ago. And making his first appearance for the Las Vegas Lights as a recent signing. Here's Asante. Sliding challenge from Christian Torres. Still trying to win it back. Now it's Miwako. Poked away by Mathers.
What you'll probably see out of Las Vegas now with Nico coming onto the pitch is he tends to sit more of in a central center back role. So expect him to sit in the middle. So you have Wiki on the right. Wouldn't be surprised if you saw Christian Torres step in the middle a little bit further.
Johnson, good ball in. Ferrino parries it away and it falls to the foot of Joel Huiki, who is fouled by Chris Cortez. Just seems like Jason Johnson has had his foot in everything for Phoenix tonight. We have officially played just a little bit more than an hour here at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. Dollar Beer Night. Dollar Beer Night here usually means entertainment and goals galore. Heading into this game, the two Dollar Beer Nights in the desert supplied 14 goals. But right now the fans are pretty happy with the two that they've seen from Phoenix. Jason Johnson with a magnificent individual goal, as Phoenix do concede a corner, and then Solomon Asante with a peach of a ball in for Joseph Farrell, able to knot home the second goal of the game, and that's now Asante's 5th assist of the season. Puts him at a tie for second. He's also right up there for goals with 5. One behind Chris Cortez for the team lead. This corner kick sent in. Huiki goes down, nothing in it. Mendoza thought about the shot. Now it's Jaime. Jaime lobs it in. Diff'ent with a defensive header. And Alvarez going for the curler. And it'll be Carl Wazinski going for the goal kick. Fans, keep up to date with all the best social media from around the league as Kelsey Steele hosts Off the Post every Friday through the league's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram feeds. And some more updates from around the United Soccer League. Sacramento up 1-0 on Fresno late in the 88th minute. OKC Energy FC in stoppage time right now, up 2-1 on T2. And what a night it would be if Phoenix could get 3 points. T2 goes down, and the Real Monarchs go down. Certainly best case scenario. And for Las Vegas, currently sitting at 3-4-4. And on the outside looking into the playoff scenario after a more than 2-month stretch without a win. And the conversation with Isidro Sanchez right before the Colorado Springs game, Devin, I thought the most interesting part that stood out was the reference to Las Vegas and how everything needs to be a balance between ridiculous and spectacular. And at home, it's much more of a spectacular, but on the road, seems like it needs to be a bit more of an orthodox approach. While that's not exactly what this team is trying to go for, because they are competing with everything that comes with Las Vegas and they're trying to embody what Sin City stands for. On the road, it's a little bit different, and you have to play the game within the game.
I've used this phrase to you before with them, that it's controlled chaos, and they're able to manage that much better at home in their own environment. But like you said, Tyler, going on the road, they just let their emotions get the best of them, and I understand that that's the type of identity that they want to carry. But time and time again, you see it carry, as you see a nasty little tackle right there by Samayoa just coming on. Time and time again, you see them step into these situations where they get a goal down, get 2 goals down. Emotions start running high, tackles start flying around. We've seen an injury or two come out of it. The worst thing for Phoenix is to respond. Obviously, you'd like them to continue to push forward and get another goal, but most importantly, you just want to get 3 points and get out of here unscathed.
Asante in for Johnson. Back for Solo. Good whipped in ball. Joseph Farrell was there again. He was looking for number 2. And what do you know? Billy Forbes, Turks and Caicos native, who missed more than a month with a lower body injury and had to have surgery, coming on and replacing Chris Cortez. Rick Schatz told us that there was a likelihood that we would see Mr. Forbes, and on comes number 7 here in the 65th, and Chris Cortez will milk it for what it's worth. And the substitute brought to you by Capriati Sandwich Shop, fanatically delicious subs.
Have to applaud Chris Cortez in his efforts here this evening. Always does such a good job up top there in isolated situations. And tonight was no exception.
Not the best of ideas from Ricardo Ferrino, still on top of it. Stayed on his feet for just long enough to be able to clear the ball away, but it's sort of the give and take with Ricardo Ferrino and what he gets involved in, and sometimes it makes Las Vegas fans hold their breath. Forbes on the ball immediately. Alatorre able to strip him. It'll fall for Billy Forbes. Forbes sends it across, and a touch from Marco Jaime and a corner kick coming up as Ricardo Ferrino. Not exactly a happy camper.
You've already seen JJ floating into the 9 spot of Chris Cortez, and that's what's going to happen. Obviously, Billy's going to go out on the left-hand side of the pitch. Jason Johnson going to push up top. Have to wonder if Rick Shantz is going to pull the trigger on the bench once again, give some other guys an opportunity.
Joseph Farrell will track it down. Farrell was a goal-scoring threat with the Rochester Rhinos in the 2 years that he was under the tutelage of the defensive mastermind that is Bob Lilly, who of course is over with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds now. 7 goals and 60 appearances as it goes back for Wakasa. Wakasa, good ball in, and Johnson's header rocks off the post. Still with Billy Forbes, and his shot flashes wide. Phoenix are knocking on the door of a third, but Johnson denied by the width of the woodwork.
Phoenix utilizing the full width and capability of this field. And a good job knocking the ball around, and but the ball in by Cody Wakasa. Tantric with his efforts. Jason Johnson trying to find the near post, ringing the steal again. Jason Johnson has put in some quarter skit tonight here tonight.
Asante brought down Alatorre. Samioa. Youngster just thumps it the other way. Well, Devin with Solomon Asante, 5 goals and 5 assists. You have to imagine he's in the early season MVP conversation.
Hard not to be. Solomon Asante right up there for sure, and Chris Cortez knocking on the door, maybe a golden boot run of his own, possibly.
Here is Asante. Miwako, great touch to bring it down. And Phoenix obviously in no hurry, up 2-0 in the 69th minute now. Asante, good work to play out of pressure. Amadou Dia trying to find Billy Forbes, but sort of scuffed it. Now it's Alatorre off and running. Bending it into the path of Christian Torres, working on Cody Wakasa. And Carl Wazinski had to make a really awkward save and collides with the near post. And it appears that Wazinski did not get a touch to it.
Cody Wakasa getting caught in transition a little bit here, and not really sure how Waz is going to get a goal kick out of that one. That's good stuff by Vegas going in transition. And Christian Torres, you've seen a little bit more active here in the second half. Wakasa's definitely had his hands full. Something that Shantz is going to want to have a conversation with outside of this game and just see exactly where Cody Wakasa's head is at. Difficult to deal with a player that's streaky and not always positionally available to mark, but still got to keep your head on a swivel nonetheless and make sure that you're always understanding your surroundings and environment.
Well, the environment right now for Phoenix surrounding the word family. And we mentioned it before in this broadcast, but I think it's worth mentioning again. And I think it just speaks volume about where this club is. And while Patrice did such an amazing job of really putting this team on the map, bringing an exciting brand of football to the club, bringing in absolutely outstanding talent left and right, the club has to move forward. And with leaders like Burke Bakai and the outstanding ownership group, I mean, it's just a testament to everybody in the club that they can have that big of a switch at such a crucial juncture in the season. And then to have everybody in the locker room nod their head at Rick Schantz when he says that we need to go forward as a group, as a family, and everybody needs to buy in. As you get another look at the challenge from behind, and you can see that Vegas is starting to get frustrated, and it's showing in their play and their late challenges. I don't think you can ask for a better performance. I mean, obviously a few more goals would be ideal, but I mean, really, they have dominated almost every facet of this game, and you would love to see them get a clean sheet if you're on the Phoenix side of things.
Their ability to stay positive throughout the entire week and throughout the game here this evening so far really shows you a testament to the club top to bottom, both from management, organizational standpoint. Obviously the personnel on the field that we're seeing here tonight, head coaches, everybody just really bought into this environment that is Phoenix Rising Soccer Club and has grown this brand globally and continues to do so on a day in, day out basis. One of the things that can kind of relate it to the performance on the pitch as well as off the pitch, I want to reference is a conversation that we had with Rick Schantz, and talked to him about any tactical changes that would go on, and he said, you know, he likes to play a little bit more. We've always already referenced that. He also said it depends on the players you have, and we have great attacking players, but we've gone through a different formation here and there, but we all agree that we are who we are, and that we like to go forward, and it's fun to do that. So we changed formations a little bit, and the reason is we wanted players to know,
as Ferrino comes off of his line,
that we were adjustable, that we were able to move in and out of a million different environments, but that we could still set them up to succeed based upon the circumstances. Given the past week, now we're stepping away from the playing aspect. Given the past week, have they not been set up to succeed given the circumstances? You couldn't ask for a more difficult situation for these players to step up into, and yet they've responded appropriately.
Ball whipped in, James Musa is there, and Joseph Farrell just continues to play a heck of a game at the back for Phoenix. And Phoenix Rising fans, you can win 4 Phoenix Rising tickets just by watching Phoenix Rising on Your View Arizona. All you have to do is listen for the keyword and then enter it on social media, and you could win. Plus, all winners are entered to win the grand prize and all expenses paid trip to watch Phoenix Rising take on Las Vegas Lights FC on October 10th. Tonight's keyword, beers. Tough to forget that one. Asante, it's just too easy for him at times. Asante in for Jason Johnson, but Huiki's there. Positioned himself extremely well to deal with the delivery from Asante that was begging for Jason Johnson to get on the end of it. Good challenge from behind. Crowd wanted a foul, but it was clean as Evan Waldrop's getting set to come on. Miwako in for Jason Johnson. Looking to take on Joel Huiki. Goes for the curler. It'll fall to Amadou Dia, who's just going to see it out of play, and a corner kick coming up.
We give so much praise to Jason Johnson, but you have to love sometimes when he gets caught in alone. You can see the ball drifting across his body, boatloads of space, and he just can't put it on his right foot. Has to cut it back to the left and tries to pick out the far post. Catches a deflection. Get a look at what looks like to be Gladson Miwako down on the ground.
And it is going to be Evan Waldrop. Grand Canyon University coming on and replacing Gladson Miwako here. It will probably be the 76th minute by the time the substitution actually takes place. And Evan Waldrop has become a regular star on this Phoenix side as he continues to make appearance after appearance. And a guy who was picked up virtually unsigned. Came into an open tryout and is starting to make a name for himself. And the substitute brought to you by Capriati Sandwich Shop, fanatically delicious subs. Asante near post, the flick on header. How on earth did Ricardo Ferrino get a hand up in time and then claims the ball to be his own? And a little bit of an Allen Iverson stare down afterwards.
Ricardo Ferrino deciding he's going to have a few choice words with the fans. Phoenix Rising here this evening, and Peanut Gatto really getting involved in their responses. Good stuff from Ricardo Ferrino here tonight. As a goalkeeper, you can only do so much, but he has dealt with a barrage of opportunities on the offensive side of the ball for Phoenix. And he has showed, for the most part, that has been up to the task.
Distribution from Ferrino has almost been too good. There's been a number of times where it's gone over the heads of the Phoenix center backs and it just goes all the way to Carl Wazinski, not even giving his teammates an opportunity. And we'll get a chance to look at this phenomenal reaction save from Ricardo Ferrino just a few moments ago.
It's a nasty little ball swung into the near post, flicked on. And grabbed your arm as almost to find the back of the net for the third time here tonight.
Johnson, another terrific move. Jason Johnson still with it. Johnson, it's 2. It's 3 for Phoenix. It's been the Jason Johnson show all night. And Phoenix Rising have officially blown the hinges off of this one. It'll be 3 points for the home side and the first 3 points for Rick Shantz, in charge of Phoenix Rising Football Club in 2018.
Jason Johnson just continuously amazes us over and over again. The individual skill, the solistic effort, one-on-one, in space, in traffic, doesn't matter. Bad boy Jason Johnson getting the brace. 3 couldn't be so sweet. You have to like the response from Phoenix Rising here this evening.
And now Jason Johnson moves into a tie for the team lead in the goal scoring department. 2 on the night. And while football is very much a team game, Jason Johnson, 2 goals tonight that came out of nothing but from the man from Happy News Jamaica. Asante was taken down late. Jaime trying to slide it through. James Musa read it perfectly. Lambert skipping away from Mendoza. Looking for Billy Forbes. Is there a 4th for Phoenix? Billy Forbes and Ricardo Ferrino to the rescue. Ferrino maybe a bit too much. Evan Waldrop. And it's a foul against Ricardo Ferrino, and it will be a booking for the keeper as well. Well, that line between ridiculous and spectacular becomes thinner and thinner for Las Vegas.
Ricardo Ferrino has bailed his squad out multiple times here this evening. We saw a nasty challenge in the middle of the field on Kevon Lambert as well, as he is still down. The late ball gets played in to the back post to Billy Forbes. Billy Forbes just maybe not up to full match fitness. As you see, he takes that touch out in front of him, and that's something that'll come in time. Ball sprays outside of the box. And how good by Evan Waldrop. You see the fake, but he doesn't falter. Steps in, and Ricardo Ferrino just thinks he's making a professional foul. Got real lucky. Waldrop wasn't able to get a shot off.
Steve Upham checking on Kevon Lambert, and this frustration for Las Vegas just continues to be clear in the way that they put in challenges and the punctuality or lack thereof in their challenges.
Trail into the play and challenge on Evan Waldrop. Von Lambert, unfortunately, didn't see him in the screen there. His ball came just before that as the referee's telling him he's got to go off, receiving treatment, and then get ushered back onto the pitch. James Musa, as he always does, has other ideas. Does James not argue?
It's the unofficial spokesperson for Phoenix Rising Football Club. Solomon's too happy to argue. Standing on top of the set piece, whips it in on the wrong side of the netting. He was trying to catch Ricardo Ferrino, cheating towards the middle, expecting delivery. Well, after Jason Johnson's second goal and with Phoenix Rising FC's win, you at home also win. Head to all of Phoenix Rising social media accounts tonight to find out what the latest We Win, You Win deal will be.
I'd be surprised based upon the score line, the amount of time left on the clock, if we didn't see Rick Shantz. Never mind. There we go. Well, I'll just do your job for you behind the scenes, and then you get all the credit.
You knew that was coming. You're setting yourself up for glory over there.
I had no clue that he was coming onto the pitch. I can be honest.
You're full of it.
I'm not.
Most of the time.
Usually, just not right now.
Usually not right now.
usually not right now.
Well, Jason Johnson clocked in today. 2 goals. Electrified the crowd here at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex and comes off to a well-deserved standing ovation. And it's Kevon Frater who's almost too excited to head onto the pitch. And a big embrace between the interim head coach Rick Shantz and Jason Johnson after an outstanding performance. And with Didier Drogba out of the squad for about a month, Jason Johnson and company are going to have to step up and carry the load up front. Case in point here as Asante, not exactly sure what that was, but either way, a goal kick for Ricardo Ferrino, and Kevon Frater getting an opportunity here in the 83rd. And the substitute brought to you by Capriati Sandwich Shop, fanatically delicious subs. Kevon Frater heading out onto the field, looked like Devin Kerr racing to the pizza supply right before the broadcast.
That's shenanigans. You know I'm on a wedding diet.
You were trying to be coerced by a number of our colleagues into a slice, and you held strong.
Not going to happen.
You really did. You were like Joe Farrell at the back. You were having none of it.
I worked too hard, man.
On what?
Trying to get back to my playing weight. Actually, if I was trying to get back to my playing weight, I would actually gain weight. I'm 6 pounds lighter than my playing weight, believe it or not.
I don't believe it.
Just a little bit less muscle, but you know.
A little bit?
Maybe
Solomon Asante has some he can donate to you.
Not all of us are 24 and can run every day, man. I'm beat up.
Damaged goods. Does your fiance know that?
Not damaged goods. I'm an antique. There's a difference. I'm still worth a whole lot. Just depends on who's buying.
Well, I'll give you what the beers are going for here tonight.
Yeah. Fair enough there.
Cost you $1.
Yeah. It's a spot 5-6 minutes left in the game. You'd really like to see Phoenix show the stronghold in the back line that we saw at the start of the season. Don't want to give up a goal. Maintain that goal differential. Again, it could come into play down the stretch. You see Real Monarchs share a similar interest going forward. Being able to find the back of the net quite regularly. Just stay composed, stay compact, and get out of here with that 0.
So you got to look at a frustrated El Chalice and this Las Vegas side. Not exactly what they were hoping for. They have a couple of tough games coming up. Home against Swope Park, at Tulsa, at home against St. Louis. And fans, watch highlights from every game of the 2018 USL season and bonus content from around the league by subscribing to the league's official YouTube channel at youtube.com/USL. And the ball did not stay in play as Billy Forbes is looking for that crowning moment as he returns to the pitch after about a month's absence.
You could see Billy yelling a little bit of frustration back toward Evan Waldrop as he felt he should have played that ball first time. And I don't disagree with Billy. Unfortunately, Evan had his head down, but did a good job holding on to the ball and didn't want to give it away too frivolously. Able to maintain possession, but sometimes you just got to think a little bit quicker. That's something that we've given praise to Solomon Asante so many times, and we talked about earlier in the broadcast, his ability to just see something before it's coming. Evan takes one little look up and he can play it right into Billy.
Corner for Las Vegas. Alvarez with plenty of space. He's going to let fly, and it's off the bar. What an effort from Carlos Alvarez. And Vegas were right there on trying to pull one back, and Phoenix needs to be careful because even when talking with Rick Shantz, he brought up the St. Louis FC game, which seems like ages ago at this point, just because of so much has happened in between, and giving up the late goal and how much of a damper it put on a W. The last thing that anybody wants, specifically Carl Wazinski, is for his back line to fall asleep and surrender up what was, to this point, a well-earned clean sheet.
We've seen that a few times from Phoenix, whether it be the early game shenanigans or late game stuff that's gone on where they just kind of lull themselves to sleep. And like you said, Tyler, a few weeks ago, just stepping up and getting that goal seconds after stepping onto the pitch. And that's some of the stuff that it's a little bit of housekeeping that you got to do towards the end of a match. And obviously you want them to stay tight throughout. But when you get into these 3, 4, 5 minutes, make it a regular practice to close these games out, because mentally it prepares you for what's going on in the future. So whether it's 3-0 or 1-0, you've been accustomed to it before and you have a regular practice going forward.
But you played at an extremely high level. When it's 3-goal lead in the 88th minute, fans are starting to make their way to the exits and away team is firing up the bus. How difficult is it to stay locked in?
It's not, and here's why. Because you're a true professional, you get paid to do this job, and your inability, especially coming from a center back's perspective, your inability to let the other team, or your ability to let the other team across the line is terrible. You want to make sure they don't have the opportunity to push forward, and you should take pride in your performance for a full 90 minutes.
Forbes, great touch for Kavan Lambert. Lambert tries to center it across, but Joel Huiki, as he's done all game along with Ricardo Ferrino, has really kept this game from becoming an embarrassment. And look at Rick Shantz fired up with the effort from Evan Waldrop. And that was another big difference between him and Patrice. He said he's a little bit more vocal in terms of the tactics and just the communication with the player. Not that Patrice was reserved in his animations, as Kavan Frater taken down in the box. No call from the referee.
That just might be a gift by our referee. Here's a look moments ago, Kavan Lambert getting down in and understands that he's got Frater in the middle of the box. Rubio Vasquez not willing to point to the spot in the closing moments of this game. That's a little bit of a gift for the visitors, but going back again, Tyler, you take pride, and at the end of the day, you walk out of here 3-0, 4-0. It's still 3 points, but those metrics start to add up over the course of the season, and come the end, if you've given up 20 goals or you've given up 10, make no mistake about it, ownership take notice to those things. And your performance could be in question come the end of the season. They have no problem, as a business, they have no problem going look elsewhere to help make sure that those numbers start to dwindle down.
Well, time is dwindling down on Las Vegas as Solomon Asante with a no-look pass over for Kavan Frater and Ricardo Ferrino off of his line. As we are into the 90th minute here in the desert. And Rick Shantz did say that the best way to honor Patrice and all that he's given to the club, as Carl Wazinski punches it away, but it was offside first, is to just go out and get 3 points and to continue all of the ideologies that he instilled in every single one of these players and in guys like Rick Shantz, and as well as guys like Blair Gavin on the coaching staff, of bringing this entertaining, electric, stylish brand of football to the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex, and we've seen every inch of that tonight. And Carl Wazinski shown mustard for time wasting. Frater again taken down. Was it in the box? The answer is yes. A penalty for Kevon Frater. Possibly a makeup call from a few moments ago. And now Phoenix will have a chance from 12 yards away to make it 4-0. And it looks like it is going to be the captain Solo stepping up for Phoenix.
See Wiki with a little bit of posturing. Solomon Asante, as Asante looked back, had a few words with his boys. I'm sure some of those guys were lobbying for the opportunity to step in here.
Ricardo Ferrino awaits. Solomon Asante. And it's Captain Solo who sends Phoenix into hyperdrive here on Dollar Beer Night. It's 4-0 to the home side. Solomon Asante already with an assist tonight. Adds to his resume. Goal number 6 of the season. It's all Phoenix.
That's exactly what went on, and that might be a little bit questionable as to whether or not that was in the box, but nonetheless, points to the spot. Ricardo Ferrino almost stopped mid-tracks, had an opportunity to get on the end of it. As you mentioned, Tyler, King Solomon back on his throne, flying high, feeling good about his performance here this evening.
Six goals and 5 assists on the season for Solomon Asante. And that MVP case just keeps getting larger and larger as Alatorre puts it on frame and Carl Wazinski with an easy save. And now it's just academic for Phoenix and trying to get out of here with a clean sheet. And the unwavering support from the Bandidos and La Furia Roja continue to provide the acoustics here at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. Frater lets loose. That's some sting to it.
Not really sure I got anything left in the arsenal to respond to if that goes in the back of the net. Gonna have to lobby Jose Bosch for new thesaurus. Yes, I have an old one.
As old as you?
You're waiting for that, huh?
Set me up.
It'll be your wedding present.
I thought you were the one getting married in December.
Just told you, that's not what I heard.
Sammy Ochoa down behind the play as we are into the 4th minute of stoppage time here. Frustrating night to say the least for Las Vegas, but they will have an opportunity to turn it around against Swope Park, Tulsa, and St. Louis in that order. Delivery, Wazinski has to get a touch to it. Now we're into the 95th minute of play. And maybe just 1 or 2 more defensive efforts for Phoenix, as we do have a final from Sacramento and Fresno. The Quails coming away with a 1-0 win. So there's 3 teams that Phoenix are sort of battling for right now in the top 4, and 2 of them didn't get any points. Sacramento coming away with 3 as Wiki gets a touch to it. And Wazinski making what is going to be the final save and play of the match. Rick Shantz gets 3 points and 4 goals and a clean sheet in his first game of 2018 as the interim head coach. It's a massive performance for Phoenix Rising Football Club after a coaching change a little bit more than 24 hours ago. Solomon Asante, the captain, leading by example, a goal and an assist. Jason Johnson, give him a brace. What a performance from Phoenix.
You said it best, Tyler, and just to follow up a little further, hats off to the boys in red, an all-around solid performance. A few blemishes in the run of play, but nothing that's going to be a cause for concern on the final stats and metrics, you have to be so proud of the performance that they put in here tonight. Each and every guy stepping up from the back line to the front. And all you can say is onward and upward. 3 points for Phoenix Rising. See you on Saturday.
What a return back to the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. Dollar beer night and 4 goals. Jason Johnson with 2, Solomon Asante and Joseph Farrell complete the score sheet. We'll be back in a moment with postgame.
If you just sign that first
I'm
one
so
there.
sorry.
we'll get
I
the-
don't feel comfortable signing that.
I don't get the math here.
Was this the same car we talked about?
What's this dealer preparation fee?
I'm so sorry. This just is not.
What we talked about.
Get the car without the car salesman. Carvana, the new way to buy a car.
Phoenix Rising FC and Didier Drogba are turning up the intensity this season. Join the action at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex in Scottsdale and experience Arizona's highest level professional soccer. Don't miss Phoenix Rising Challenge Tulsa Roughnecks Saturday, June 16th at 7:30 p.m. Get your tickets at phxrisingfc.com. Phoenix Rising FC. Rise.
Full time here at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. It's all high fives, it's all smiles for the home side as Solomon Asante, Joseph Farrell and company with an outstanding result, 4-0 after Patrice Carteron moving on to Al Ali in Egypt. Rick Schantz taking over. Tyler Terrence along with ex-German pro Devin Kerr. Full-time highlights, and Devin, 32nd minute, Jason Johnson, take a bow.
We talked about the offense going forward and who was going to step up and who was going to be the guy to go to. We got a little bit of everyone tonight, and that's a great thing for Phoenix Rising. Obviously, Jason Johnson is going to get in there and get his goals, and that's great. But Chris Cortez stepped into the role. You said Gladson Miwako in the middle field held a good supporting role in the 10 spot. Solomon Asante obviously getting into dangerous spots here tonight and getting on the score sheet. But I tell you what, this all around was one of the best collective efforts we've seen from the Rising for a full 90 minutes. Again, there wasn't really a boatload of lulls in and out of the game. Some tiny little quirks here and there they could have tidied up, but I'll tell you what, from start to finish, the full 90, extremely impressive.
Joseph Farrell would add the second goal just a few moments into the second half. One of the few times that Carl Wazinski was called into action after a bit of a miscue there from Cody Wakasa. Was able to get down and make the save. Phoenix would continue to knock on the door. Jason Johnson almost got his second there as it hits off the post. Billy Forbes coming on and making his first appearance in over a month.
You can see Billy Forbes, a little bit of rust on the outside, but still getting into dangerous situations and couldn't put something away. But the most important thing is that he was there and he was available. And I want to track back in a second ago because you brought it up. Carl Wazinski was brought into action one of the few times. That's a great thing. A lot of times as a goalkeeper, when not a lot is on your end, you start to fall asleep a little bit. Waz was sharp, he was available, and he was up to the task at hand when it came his direction.
Jason Johnson, 78th minute, getting goal number 3 for Phoenix, goal number 2 in the game. And then Kevon Frater taken down inside of the box. Maybe a little bit of a controversial call, but nothing controversial about Solomon Asante just burying it into the left side. A goal and assist for Solo. And Phoenix Rising would come away with a 4-0 win. Goal number 6 for Asante on the season. And here are the full-time stats. I mean, you can't ask for much more if you're Phoenix. Rick Schantz told us that he wanted to put the ball down and play a little bit more. Vegas comes away with the possession statistic, but 4 goals for Phoenix, clean sheet, 24 shots, 11 of them on target.
You'll see on the right side of the screen the 17 shots for Las Vegas. None of those were really threatening either. I mean, Waz was only tested a few times here this evening, and again, Las Vegas had trouble really getting into the rhythm of this game. Phoenix Rising jumped out in front right away. They had the right tempo, they had the right chemistry, and for now, and for the rest of the season, looks like we've got the right man at the helm as well.
Well, it's a 3-match unbeaten streak for Phoenix after those 2 matches that they dropped against Swope Park and Sacramento. and they're going to look to make it 4 in a row against Tulsa, June 16th, Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Myself and Devin Kerr will be on that call. We hope that you can join us for what should be another terrific night of football right here at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. Las Vegas Lights FC, their next match is going to be home against Swope Park Rangers. Well, Phoenix Rising Football Club have had a whirlwind of a start to this USL week, but they start off the week with 3 points. Jason Johnson was outstanding. Solomon Asante to Joseph Farrell. Asante with a goal of his own. Johnson with a brace. And a 4-0 win for Phoenix Rising FC as Rick Shantz gets his first 3 points of the season. For our outstanding crew and my broadcast partner, Devin Kerr, Tyler Terrence saying so long for now. Final score, Phoenix 4, Las Vegas 0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.